Hi everyone, I'm just checking in at this time that we're in, challenging time. And this video clip is just really for students, so anyone who's on our first, second or third year. And I just wanted to remind you, during these challenging times where people need our help and support, some of the concepts of naturopathic nutrition in order to take you through this time and to share the knowledge and to pull out the medicine toolkit really that we've all been taught, so that we can get people through this time by reducing stress, reducing fear, and also increasing their vitality and health parameter during this time, so that people are in a place of acceptance and wisdom of their own bodies. So the first thing is that I'd like you to research the concept of what a virus is and the Beauchamp versus Pasteur theory. So particularly looking at Beauchamp's theory around the germ theory of how viruses and bacteria work within the body and why they actually come about in the first place. I want to point you in the direction of the pH of the body. That is very important in terms of keeping the alkalinity, keeping the oxygenation within the body, so that the body can actually clear and overcome viruses and bacteria. So oxygenation and pH, so things like exercise, hydration. We've been speaking quite a bit about hydrogen recently, and so getting hydrogen actually naturally comes from food, in terms of raw food, so doing the raw food diet. Also working with the concept of that the body's environment is the total key to this. So if you change the pH and the oxygenation in the body, things can move and clear. So just to remind yourself of the naturopathic techniques right now, especially to the kidneys and to the liver. Now we're approaching a seasonal change. We've got the equinox on Saturday, and people are experiencing natural cleanses as a result of this. Colds clearing and mucus leaving the body, coughs and sometimes temperatures. So that's all positive clearing for the body. The body's trying to excrete and send out the toxicity so that the body is more free. And if anything that gets stuck in the body, so if the body is experiencing distress in the lungs, can be supported via compresses, castor oil compresses, and also enemas in some cases. So enemas actually release the lungs if the lungs are distressed. One of the things that I've been taught in my training around antioxidants is that antioxidants work well as a formula. So you can actually clear anything that's not meant to be in the body, a virus or anything that's a neurotoxin or anything that shouldn't be there in the system, with our high dose antioxidant formula. Now some people have been doing this with vitamin C, where we're super dosaging. So you do something like 2,000 milligrams every hour if you had symptoms, and then to bowel tolerance level, and you can outrun a virus and clear a virus in that way. Also, the product I've been using is a Cornella product, and it's an antioxidant formula. The Maxi Oxy is the name of it, or Maxi C if you just want to go for vitamin C. So if you take the antioxidants together, then they have a much more potent effect. But with any viral activity or bacteria, they can't survive when there's a high dose vitamin C in the system. And so some countries have been using intravenous vitamin C during this time. But a lot of the cases that we're looking at have had pneumonia attached to them. So that's obviously the oxygenation and hydrogenation of the body and missing antioxidants. So you can use antioxidants in a very powerful way for healing right now. And this makes a really big difference to keeping everyone well and happy. As well as we've talked about mushrooms, haven't we, on the courses? So the medicinal mushrooms are very, very powerful at withstanding and clearing any challenges to the body, any bacteria, viruses, parasites. They've all been proven and tested to do that, especially chaga and reishi. So quite potent time that we're in terms of fear levels, and we know from the course that the water element is very connected to fear. So really important to get people hydrated and look after the kidney energy, and especially the adrenal energy where there's such high stress. So adaptogenics and compresses to the kidneys. Some of the adaptogenics you might want to use would be ashwagandha, maca, but to keep it simple, magnesium is a very powerful calmer and also helps to support the electrolyte balance. And some of the work that I've looked at has shown that the 5G radiation that's now been rolled out since last year in Cardiff, in other places like Italy, and also in China for quite a while in China actually, is actually robbing the body of oxygen. So then when the body has to fight against a bacteria or a virus, if it's actually got something going on any level, if the oxygen is taken away, then the environment, the lungs really suffer quite remarkably. So you'd want to be also, if you know people who are living in 5G areas, to be recommending not only that they really try as fast as they can to get away from that situation, but also if they have to remain in those areas, that they're using iron, because iron is a major ingredient for hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is essential for oxygen. So making sure the iron levels are up, and that people are wearing things like Orgonite, or they could even wear the Zappa, and having something on the body that actually is supportive and creates a safety mechanism in the system. And diet is a first stage for that, but as we know, we've been exploring some of the binaural beats which you can find on YouTube, and the 528 frequency, which is the miracle frequency, takes out the frequency of the 60 hertz, which is what the 5G is giving us and putting out on the planet, which is a very damaging frequency to the cells and to the oxygen in the body. And so if you can outrun the 5G energy with things like 528 energy, some of us have pyramids and we're using that, or Orgonite, but 528 is a frequency which actually you can put on YouTube channel and actually find that changes the energy that we're experiencing right now. And even if you're not around 5G, to really look at what you need to be in terms of to heal. So we know that stress causes dehydration. We know that dehydration causes, fluid loss and adrenal fatigue. So if we know everything that's happening in the media and on the television and out there really currently is sort of fear-based, so it's important to safeguard your own body and stay in a place of acceptance and holding the vibration high, so that you can actually come out of this with lots of wisdom of things that might need to change within yourself, within your own life, and within society. And society, as we know it, is going to change in such a massive way through this, and I believe that there will be lots of positive things that will come out of it eventually. It's very difficult currently, I know, for people financially and and also on physically when they have relatives maybe suffering. But the positive thing is people are overcoming the coronavirus, and actually the statistics show that there are more cases of flu in the world regularly, and basically people are having to deal with this, but they're also overcoming it in quite a big way, and it's only really complicated cases where people actually are dying of this. And so for you guys, you've got all the tools that around you to be able to share this with people around you, your family and your community. So I just want to recap on the best tips for getting us through this period. First of all, it's obviously looking at hydration, looking at diet, increasing hydrogen with raw food, juicing, smoothies. Stage 3 would be naturopathic techniques, especially if there's fear. You could put compresses to the kidneys with castor oil. There's a remedy which is really great in homeopathy for fear, and that's aconite 200C. And that's brilliant for treating the kidneys and treating fear and people who are in a state of shock. So that's a good remedy to have. There are homeopathic remedies for the coronavirus and for people with symptoms. And it would be good to ring Helios Pharmacy if you need any help with that. There are remedies I've been using. Belladonna is a good one for treating the heat in the body if there's temperature, but you may want to sort of link up with Helios for some of the information around that. Maybe take part in the webinar that I'm doing on the equinox, and just listening on that in terms of remedies. But really to be thinking about how to get those antioxidants up and to raise your frequency. And the vitamin C and the antioxidant formulas are very, very potent for clearing anything that shouldn't be in the body, and making sure you're covering the 3 stages of treatment for hydration in terms of diet, essential fatty acids and high levels of magnesium to help with stress. To work with the naturopathic techniques as much as possible if you're feeling there's a seasonal cleanse happening, and to use this time to retreat within, to gather your thoughts and to see where the next step is for you in terms of your working environment and your the way we're living our lives, really, because so much has needed to change on the planet, and it's sort of bringing things into the focus now. And I believe this is a time where we can all retreat and gather our energies together for the greater good, and to be able to make big changes in the world as we come out of this. So the classes have been running up to date as normal. I know we have our first year date at the end of this month. We're still getting together as planned, but if the venue changes in terms of it may cancel, we will then be doing the course through webinar. So the course will still take place, but it will be through a webinar method, which we'll send you the details on. And as far as we are concerned, we'll be running things as normal, apart from if we are told we have to stop training in that way, and then we'll actually run it via webinar, so we'd all link in with each other. And I think it's a good thing also to maybe set a time every day where we all meditate and send out that positive vibe. And it doesn't matter what time you choose, but to set out your intentions of what you'd like to be created out of what's happening currently. So linking in, and if you need anything, by the way, please contact me. I'm available on my landline or my mobile number. So my landline is 01443 524 503, and the mobile is 07854 425 930, and you can just contact me if you need to. Obviously, this is for students, and so you can contact and speak and share and maybe do some sharing with your clients around what you've learnt through this short clip. But if you're interested, we're doing a webinar on the equinox on Saturday at 12 o'clock, and that's an hour just looking at what we can be doing right now. Thank you very much for listening, and speak to you soon. Bye.